So just in case you haven't kept up with all the latest Flash updates these last few days, apparently Iris is set to become Central City's newest speedster, presumably in episode 16, which according to Spoiler TV will be titled Run Iris Run.
What? What the fuck?
On-set photos of Candace Patton showed her wearing a new costume, with Entertainment Weekly claiming last week that Iris will only be a speedster temporarily. I'm assuming that means Earth 1 Iris is going to be the one getting super speed, since you'd think somebody would make the distinction if it was an Iris from another Earth or something like that. Plus, if this is another version of Iris, why would she only have her super speed temporarily? It doesn't make any sense.
A little warning next time?
Yeah, people who aren't exactly fans of the character probably aren't thrilled, but the newest development does lead to a pretty interesting question. How exactly does Iris become a speedster? I mean, it's not like she's ever shown off speedster powers before, and it's not like she was on a bus or abducted by aliens or something like that anytime recently, so what gives? Well, there are a few possibilities in the Arrowverse that could lead to Iris getting super speed, so let's take a look and try to figure this out. Now, one theory I have seen floating around recently is that Iris could be taking some kind of a speedster serum, like Velocity 9 for example. I'm assuming if this was a thing, she'd have gotten a version without all those pesky side effects like addiction, insanity, disintegration. Now, while that could work, given that we have seen totally normal people get speedster abilities from V9, I don't think this could really be a thing since nobody's mentioned it or any kind of speedster serum on the show since the end of season 2. Sure, the writers could have somebody like Caitlin go through a box of junk at Star Labs, whip out a case of V9 and just be like, oh, I just kept working on the serum that we all agreed we would never use because it's so dangerous, just in case we needed a speedster the writers wouldn't ignore or forget about. But somehow I can't imagine the writers are going to go in that direction, so I'd say it's safe to assume this one's out. There's also the possibility that Barry could have given Iris some of his speed, either by lending it to her on his own or by Team Flash draining it out of him like Harry did back in season 2. As far as the first option goes, we know Barry can do something along the lines of lending speed since we got that scene of him and Iris talking privately in the courtroom earlier this season. But I'm not entirely convinced this is where Iris is getting her powers. Remember, Barry had no idea he could even do that at the time, so unless he's been running his own secret speedster training sessions in jail and risking passing out from burning through too much energy, I have no idea how he'd be able to figure out how to lend speed to somebody. Actually, hold on a second. Barry didn't know he could make somebody as fast as himself?
How are you able to do this with me?
I actually don't know.
Then what the hell was he doing running up to Iris in the first place? What, was he gonna punch her in the head or something, knock her the f*** out? Seriously though, there's also the second option. We know Team Flash has the means to drain Barry of some of his Speed Force energy if they want to, but why would they? Even ignoring how I'm pretty sure Barry would have mentioned at some point that the Speed Force was mad at him for giving up his speed, there's also the idea that draining Barry's speed actually made him slower, so taking even a little bit of it seems like a really dumb idea. Oh yeah, and there's also the fact that nobody on the team is a f***ing psycho, so I highly doubt anybody on Team Flash is even remotely interested in trying any of Zoom's tactics. Alright, so if Iris isn't using a version of V9 and she's not getting any speed from Barry, then what's she doing to make herself a speedster? Well, honestly, I think Iris is pregnant, and episode 16, Run Iris Run, is going to be the first time we get any sort of official confirmation about it. You know, beyond the whole we need more diapers thing.
We're gonna need more diapers.
I mean, think about it. We already know from this week's episode that some people can be pregnant and that pregnancy can trigger some temporary powers.
My best hypothesis is this is actually triggered by your latest phase of pregnancies, and it's actually latent dark matter that's been in your brain since maybe the first particle accelerator explosion?
They even made sure to specify in the statement from Entertainment Weekly that Iris would only have her powers temporarily, just like Caitlin mentioned to Cecile. I know some people are gonna be like, well, if she's pregnant, why is she running around as a superhero? Or where'd she even get the costume from? As far as fighting crime while pregnant, I mean, come on, just look at how Iris has been written so far. Take charge, constantly wanting to be in the field, or directly contributing to Team Flash's missions, I could easily see her running around knocking out some bad guys, especially if Barry is still in jail for whatever reason. And as far as the suit goes, I don't see why either Cisco couldn't cobble one together or Iris just grabs and repurposes an old super suit laying around Star Labs. I mean, look, she's even wearing what looks like the same mask Trajectory and Jesse Quick wore while they were running around. I don't know, just a thought. And quick side note here, I'm pretty sure that's also going to be the episode when we start getting more definitive answers about who this mystery girl is. Me personally, I'm thinking she's going to turn out to be Barry and Iris's granddaughter, the Speedster XS and a member of the Legion of Superheroes in the comics. We already know she has some connection to Barry and Iris because of those weird symbols she was drawing at the end of the last episode. She looks a lot like the two of them, so it's entirely possible they're related in some way. And on top of all that, just look at Iris's costume. Sure looks awfully similar to the one XS wears in the comics, right? So based on that, my current thought process is that XS, assuming this is her, came from the future to the present for some currently unknown reason, either just to get to know friends and family when they were younger, or to help Barry out with this whole thing with DeVoe or whatever, but she's definitely not a full-time superhero yet. I'm guessing after Iris wraps up being a speedster is when XS is going to start her own superhero career, and she's going to gonna use her grandmother's costume as a basis for her own. Sounds pretty reasonable, I think. But look, I'm getting way off topic here, so just a quick recap. Iris is pregnant, that's how she becomes a speedster. I have no idea how she stops being a speedster, and the mystery girl is gonna turn out to be Barry and Iris's granddaughter, who will probably be the one to spill the beans on the whole pregnancy thing, Bart Allen style.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Aunt Dawn.
Wait, there are two in there?
We're having twins? Oops. Spoilers.
So that's my theory. Well, theories anyway, I kind of jumped into two of them. But either way, if you agreed with anything I said in this video, or you have your own theories you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.